Holy moly! The CEO came out today and said some pretty interesting things worth noting about price increase. What? And also about sales. A lot of you guys are very disappointed about sales. So this is a very interesting topic. So the first very important thing that the CEO said was that do not expect to ever be able to buy a Neo that's under 300k RMB. They will not launch a car under that price category, that price range, on the Neo brand at least. And the cheapest Neo you can get is going to be the ET5 or ET5T. There will not be any cheaper Neos than that. And if you are thinking about waiting for a Neo that's cheaper than that, it's not going to happen. In fact, he said that they are going to come out with even more expensive cars, all right, to solidify their category as a luxury premium brand. And they're coming out, of course, with the ET9, which is, he said, the car that we're about to launch. It's going to be much more expensive, so maybe around 800k RMB, 900k RMB, maybe 1 million RMB. The Maybach killer, the ET9, the video, you guys can watch the video about that. But then also he talked about sales, and he jokingly said, you know, sales, you know, it's not above 20,000 deliveries, and we're around 16,000. You know, should the president Qin Li Hong and I go and find a job? And he said that, of course, jokingly. But on the topic of sales, he said definitely they have much more. They expected a lot more, and the actual results are, of course, disappointing for them as well. It has not reached what they wanted or they anticipated. And this is very important. He said that they will not do any price decreases. They will not do any price changes to the downside, decrease prices, price cuts. They will not do any of those. And their job, their strategy is more on the sales front of things, and like the front line and refining the sales process and the sales team and all that kind of stuff. And he said that sales are a natural process and that they've realized what they need to do and they're fixing it. You know, to me, it sounds very encouraging, very nice. However, from what I know from the sales side of things, if you don't have incentives, it's very hard for people to justify purchasing such a good, you know, expensive vehicle, even though it's worth it, in my opinion. All right, it's hard to make them pull the trigger. Okay, now one of you guys did say that the CEO promised 250,000 deliveries this year, and it's looking like they're only going to achieve 160,000 deliveries, and which is 90,000 lower, or 36% lower than what was promised. And people are very upset with that. You know, my personal opinion, seeing what Neo's doing, it's more like the same thing, forcing sales reps to stand at the front of the door, greet customers politely. Basically, you have to stand there. And also, of course, very strict tasks. You got to call customers a lot, etc., etc. Get them on test drives, and even do door-to-door test drives, like drive the test drive car to wherever they're at, etc. The good thing is right now they're shifting their focus a little bit more on marketing. But my opinion is, if you don't have incentives, it's not going to, sales are not naturally going to get better. All right, the CEO says it's a natural process. Yes, it's a natural process, but you got to realize, why is it going down? Why is it trending down? All right, and this is despite the fact that taxes are about to be introduced in 2024, and there's that urgency to buy the car now instead of in 2024 because there will be taxes. Despite that, sales are still kind of trending down. And what's the problem here? All right, well, the problem here is, of course, obviously competition, pricing, etc. But you got to make sure that your product, you're trying to sell the best tier product. That means you have to make sure that everything inside the car is the best. Now, I would agree with that, except for maybe one thing. All right, the chip, 8155 chip. You know, some people will really care about this. the newer cars that you're seeing being launched right now or a couple months ago, they have the 8295 chip. I mean, so your car, NIO's vehicles are more expensive, all right? Worth it, in my opinion. Very much worth it. But you still have not gotten the latest chips. You're using the last generation of chips, Qualcomm chips. So I think they need to reflect on that and be able to quickly, all right, get that 8295 version out immediately. There's no excuse for that. If you're trying to sell the old generation chip inside your product and you're charging more for it, it would, of course, get people to hesitate or wait, right? And if I were to buy a NIO right now, I would buy it. If I didn't really care about the chips, I would buy it right now. But if I did, of course, I'd see the competitors, 007 and all that kind of stuff. They have the 8295 chip. I would want a NIO with an 8295 chip as well. So perhaps on that front, they also got to act quickly. All right, act quickly, I think. Reflect on why this is all happening. Also, this whole thing of not doing price cuts, I don't agree with that. I mean, it's impossible to have everything remain the same price forever. Even Apple cuts prices on the products if something doesn't sell well. And I guess you also have to reflect on why some of the other people sell well, right? And this is obviously incentives. All right, incentives is very important because right now, if you buy a NIO, the stuff you get quite limited, to be honest. All right, the incentives to purchase a NIO, like the freebies and gifts, not that much. But if you look at what some of the other guys are doing, they're going all out. They're going balls deep with incentives, which is just crazy. All right, it's crazy what those other guys are doing. But of course, if you're going over the top and just doing insane incentives, like they're giving away tents and all sorts of like random stuff, speakers, like home pods, and then also like a free car wrap and all this kind of freebies. There's like a long list of stuff that some of the other competitors are giving out to incentivize purchasing their car, and then 1 year free insurance, etc., etc., etc. Of course, right? It's hard to not get lured in. And with those incentives, it doesn't have to be like it doesn't have to be permanent. It could just be like 1 month, and then you have that urgency. Oh, mister, all these incentives are going to go away very soon. Better purchase the car. And this has worked for NIO in the past as well, because every time when there's a big incentive thing that's going to go away, sales have spiked just before it went away. So like when battery swap was about to end in July, that's when the sales spiked really high. All right, and that's also coincided with the ES6 launch. But also when I bought my car, if it wasn't for free battery swap for life going away, I probably would have waited. I probably would have hesitated and checked more of the other cars and stuff like that. But free battery swap was going to go away. Buy it or lose it. All right, let's buy it, man. I don't want to miss out on free battery swap going away. So incentives are pretty important, and it's just not there to incentivize purchases. And you got to remember, EV subsidies, localized EV subsidies, national EV subsidy is gone this year, but some places still have localized EV subsidies, and that's really helping EV sales. But what's going to happen when that goes away, right? Think about that. So it's all about incentives, or at least make the customer feel like they got a good deal or they're getting a good promo. A lot of people are waiting for incentives. Even the sales reps are waiting for incentives. That's crazy, man. You would think that the sales rep would just try to sell the car whenever they got a customer, but no, even the sales reps are waiting for incentives because customers just don't think it's a very good deal to buy the car right now. The incentive isn't enough. So that's just the way it is. I mean, I wish they came out with killer incentive packages and just get everybody to buy the car or else miss out. I mean, that would be pretty nice. It wouldn't cost NIO an arm or a leg. I mean, like giving out a few free tents or like some of the car wraps. Yes, it's going to cost some money, but that's a cost of business. That's the cost of business. You want that customer to buy the car now, or you want them to wait? Enough of me ranting. As always, stay safe, stay healthy. Peace out.